Hey friends, welcome back to the next video. And here I'd like to ask you a very important question. DAX or no DAX? That is the question. So sometimes there is an option actually to avoid creating your own DAX calculations in Power BI, because Power BI offers you the option to simply get the specific measure or insight you want directly with only a few clicks. What do I mean by that? Now, as an example, remember what we did in the last video. We used here the distinct count as a function, so as a DAX measure, unique customers here, distinct count of the customer company. Now, what if we can get the same result without actually creating a measure? How? Well, let's explore this. Let's actually use one more time from the, in this case, the day of week name from the dates table. So let me go to the dates table and use the day of week name. So select it here. We got our table. Let's increase the size under the formatting options, go to values here and say the text size is, let's say 15. Okay, here we go. So we can see all of the weekday names. And now let's actually visualize here the customers we had. So we go with customer company. So let me go in here. Where is it? Customer company from the orders table. Let's select the orders table here and go with customer company. Let me tick this option. Okay, so here are the customers. And now if we go back to the visual pane here and right click actually here on the customer company, you see that there are various options. And one of them is count distinct. So we can count the customers, but also use a count distinct. So if you click this option count distinct here, you'll see that now we get actually the same result. Let me make this bigger here. The same result as we had prior when we used the DAX calculation in here, without actually creating any kind of measure. And this, of course, is also true for other options. So as an example, let's say we'd like to figure out for the countries, so what is the average selling price across the countries? Now, of course, again, we could create a DAX measure for that, but there's also an option to go directly in here, say, let's go with a bar chart, select the bar chart, and then I go to the customer, in this case, average by country, so customer country, select this option here. And now, of course, we need to give it any kind of numerical data in order to figure that out. And let's say, as I said, the selling price, I can tick the selling price here, or I can drag it into the value area here directly. So let me just tick it. Works faster. And now I can see here for all the countries, make this bigger here, I can see here the selling price. However, what happens here is something which doesn't make any sense, because what Power BI is doing by default is simply summing up the individual selling prices, which is not really helpful. You can sum up the sales, but you can't sum up the selling prices. It doesn't make any sense. But you could easily change this by, again, you click on it, I right click on it, and you can also click on the drill down menu here, also on the arrow. It's up to you. But you can see that here for the selling price as a numerical field, there are other options like calculate the average, the minimum, the maximum, count distinct, which is also available, of course, for text values, standard deviation, median, and so on. And if I would say I'd like to see this as the average, which makes more sense, then now you can see that, for instance, Norway would be the country where the average selling price would be the highest across all the orders. Of course, also interesting regarding this is then the amount of orders which have been placed, for sure, because if, for instance, Norway would only have one specific order, then probably the high selling price would not be that important. But still, it could be an insight you can easily generate simply by using the options which Power BI offers by default, without actually creating a DAX calculation for that. And also please notice that the country 0, this is just something in the data set. Of course, you can simply replace it if you want. And as well, in a real life scenario, I would figure out what kind of data is that. And here it's just a placeholder for sales which are not linked to a specific country directly. But this is just in case you're wondering why there's a 0 actually inside. It's coming from the data set directly. Other very interesting things is, of course, you could also show this percentage wise. So what I mean by that is, for instance, you see that next to the selling price here, there's also this option show values as. And there's a percent of grand total. Now, of course, again, it depends on what kind of visualization you use. But let me maybe make this a little bit smaller here and drag it maybe up. And this also drag it a little bit to the side. And let's just see Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. And again, we're showing, take a look at the customer country. But this time, let's use something where we could actually show the percentage numbers. Let's say we want to display the total sales. Drag the total sales into the values area in here. Remove the average. We don't need this. And now we can see that the total amount of sales is highest in the United States, followed by Germany, and then Austria, and so on. Now, let's say we'd like to know, okay, this is the total amount, 261,000, but I'm more interested in what kind of percentage is this of the total. So then I could say, okay, I go to the total sales here and say show values as, and then there's an option, percent of grand total. So if you tick this option here, you now see the US sales are actually around 20% of the total sales. So around 1/5 across all the sales in the dataset. So again, this is an insight. So the formula itself is already built in to Power BI. And you just need to click here and then choose what exactly you want to see without actually creating a measure. So you could create a DAX measure for that. But again, the question is DAX or no DAX. That is the question, right? So that just means that if there is a built-in functionality you can use, then why creating a DAX measure if you don't need it? DAX measures are great, but if something is offered by Power BI already and you just can use this and save some time, then go with it. Okay, that is the main message here from this video. So that's it actually for this video itself. So hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully you can use those already built-in insights for your own reports and datasets. And otherwise, thanks a lot for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.